Over the past decade, we have seen a massive increase in the amount of free-to-play games entering the market. There are some fantastic games with huge followings, but then there are an incredible amount of games which are certainly less than desired. That is why today we will be covering the 15 best free games on Xbox in 2024. My name is Fletcher, this is Xbox Nation. Subscribe for more Xbox content every single week, and let's dive right in. The free-to-play market has had many great multiplayer shooters, along with way more games defined by wasted potential and dead lobbies. While its longevity remains to be seen, the finals does not seem to be just another flash in the pan. Like most free projects, Embark's release had plenty of room to grow and blossom into something even better, but the current version is more than solid enough to warrant a download and definitely give it a try. The finals frames its action around a virtual game show that has players competing against each other to earn cash. This concept is tweaked to accommodate a few modes that are fairly similar but emphasize different elements. It's a fantastic game that I've sunk many hours into myself, and it's one game that I highly recommend for any Xbox Series X and S user. After 8 years on the scene, EA officially turned The Sims 4 free to play in 2022. The base game is currently available on all platforms at no cost, although players interested in the DLC packs will need to buy those separately. The Sims has now been around for decades, and the fourth entry is one of the more polarizing entries in the franchise. Issues aside, The Sims 4 can still provide dozens of hours of entertainment and silliness for those who want to experience it. Although there's nothing amazing, the vanilla version presents an accurate representation of the overall package, allowing newcomers to the series to decide whether they want to invest in this universe. Everybody still loves The Sims to this day, and it's well worth playing on the Xbox consoles in 2024. Launching on the Xbox Series X and S in the year of the next-gen consoles releasing, Naraka Bladepoint was originally a premium product, but the game actually went free to play back in July 2023. This transition breathed new life into the Battle Royale title, hopefully ensuring it will last for quite a few more years. Whilst this genre is still quite oversaturated and dominated by a few key names, Naraka Bladepoint offers a reasonably fresh take on the Battle Royale blueprint, by primarily thanks to its focus on melee combat rather than shooter gameplay. Naraka Bladepoint features an assortment of heroes who each come with their unique abilities, and they do take a bit of practice to master, but overall the combat gameplay is where this title ultimately shines. Following a decently successful stint in beta on PC, Omega Strikers eventually made its way to most platforms, including the Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One consoles. Odyssey Interactive's game takes elements from MOBAs, sports and brawlers, blending them together to create an addictive gameplay loop designed around short play sessions. This game focuses on 3v3 matches and launched with only a handful of basic modes like quick play and rank, so overall the game is quite fairly light in content. The best thing about this game though is that the core mechanics are more than fun enough to justify a download, and it's well worth giving a try in 2024. Halo will always be a big deal for Xbox, but the license's shine has dulled over the last decade. Halo Infinite launched to a fairly positive critical reception, and its single player campaign was an improvement over the disappointing Halo 5. However, Microsoft ultimately decided to release Halo Infinite's multiplayer for free on Xbox consoles and PC. Ultimately, the project's longevity relies on its online component, and 343 Industries has tried to keep the game active with frequent updates. Halo Infinite's multiplayer has led a very turbulent life though, garnering praise and criticism in equal measure. The most recent updates and the additional Forge and more game modes make this package one of the best multiplayer games, let alone free games on Xbox this 2024. Amido Studios' Predecessor has now been floating around for a few years, but it finally made its way to console in March 2024. Now, the MOBA is still in game preview, so anyone jumping on board needs to be aware that they will be playing an early access of this game, and it's still moving towards the final finish line. Predecessor is essentially Paragon's successor, and it tries to lower the barrier of entry by providing a gameplay loop that focuses on classic third-person action, whilst also leaning into the hero shooter genre. The result is a frequently fun game that is still working through some balancing issues, whilst also trying to narrow down its strongest ideas and mechanics. mechanics. It's great to see this game come back to life, and I cannot wait for many of you to experience it this year. Debuting in 2017, PUBG Battlegrounds was a landmark release for Battle Royales, to the point that it came to be credited for sparking the genre's explosion into popularity. After spending years as a premium product alongside plenty of free-to-play competitors, PUBG finally transitioned to being free, and many fans rejoiced. In this game, 100 players compete on an ever-shrinking battlefield to see who will be the last person standing. In the meantime, they must scour the entire landscape to collect loot and fight to the death. PUBG can feel clunky at times, and its gunplay is certainly not the best in the free-to-play market, but that said, the game can be highly addictive since contests offer an element of unpredictability that allows them to be constantly engaging. Warframe is well established as one of the free-to-play market's heavyweights. Digital Extreme's third-person shooter was initially relatively small scale, featuring largely corridor-style stages that players would grind endlessly. However, the project has ballooned considerably in its scope over the past few years. Nowadays, Warframe offers deep lore, variety, overwhelming customization options, and rock-solid combat. Compared to some other free universes, Warframe is accessible to newcomers, although the campaign's opening hours can definitely be a bit slow and repetitive. Nevertheless, for anyone looking for a free Xbox game that keeps them entertained for months, this is the game for you. Soon after the debut of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Activision dropped the next era of Warzone, the publisher's free-to-play Battle Royale game. While they tend to be associated with different eras through their 2.0 and 3.0 subtitles, Warzone is still one consistent online game that is spread so far throughout the world. As far as Battle Royales are concerned, Warzone is among the most satisfying on the market. Visually, the game still looks good, it runs incredibly well on current gen hardware, and it's just so popular to this day. The gunplay is also fantastic, which should hardly come as a surprise considering Call of Duty's pedigree. Respawn's Apex Legends is a contender for the best Battle Royale title on the market, a proclamation driven by its polished gunplay and squad-based gameplay. As there are so many free-to-play Battle Royale games on Xbox, newcomers to the genre might not know where to start. If you're only willing to try one game, then you should either pick Apex Legends or Fortnite. 2022 and 2023 were not the greatest years for Apex Legends, and they saw the game lose some momentum through a couple of polarizing updates. Nevertheless, Respawn's shooter is still amongst the best representatives of the Battle Royale genre, and the Titanfall-inspired movement is still the best in any game in 2024. Before we dive into the remaining games, do consider subscribing for more Xbox content every single day, as 88% of you have not subscribed to this fast-growing Xbox channel. Also, let me know in the comments below what you're currently playing on Xbox. I personally have been delving back into Gears of War due to the incredible E-Day announcement at the Xbox Showcase. Thank you again for your continued support, make sure you hit that like button, and let's dive into the remaining games. Fortnite shot its way up the charts like a SpaceX rocket, turning it into one of Xbox's must-haves. The game introduced construction elements to a Battle Royale mode that encourages players to build fortifications and strongholds. The players were quick to pick up on this and seamlessly integrated building platforms with combat, making one of the most complex yet rewarding combat systems ever in a game. At this point, Fortnite has diversified its portfolio, offering multiple free modes that are wildly different. The Battle Royale is still the most popular and exposed, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Rocket Racing and LEGO Fortnite randomly launched in early December 2023, and they are both fully expanded ideas that are well worth trying, even for people who aren't fans of the main Fortnite game. If Battlefield is a bit too pricey, War Thunder is the perfect zero-cost alternative. The game features a whole World War II/Cold War battlefield to engage in, filled with open fields, urban jungle, and vast airspace. The massively multiplayer game engages 32 competing players in full-scale PvP matches, with over 1,700 available military vehicles to choose from. There are also PvE and solo missions based on battles throughout history to get lost in. The vast battlefield, along with the gargantuan selection of vehicles, leave leaves no limits to player strategies and tactics. Though this game isn't as popular as Warzone or Fortnite, War Thunder's realistic gameplay is something that can be appreciated by a wider market. For the most part, the free-to-play scene is dominated by multiplayer projects. However, there are still a couple of RPG-themed exceptions, and Path of Exile is among the best on the Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One consoles. Grinding Gear Games crafted an old-school action RPG that harbors back to the likes of Diablo 2, and there is still a lot of game here despite its free price tag. The campaign should keep players entertained for a few dozen hours, and that's only a drop in the bucket for the entire Path of Exile experience. Forget free games, Path of Exile is one of the best great modern RPGs of 2024. Rocket League's popularity speaks for itself. Debuting in 2015, the game blends soccer with cars, producing an experience that is simultaneously accessible but also very skill-based. Rocket League was a huge hit before it went free to play, but the latter ensured the game would remain active for years to come. Unlike some other free-to-play games on the market, Rocket League is designed for very short play sessions. If you have 20 minutes to kill, then you can easily play a quick match in Rocket League. It will definitely be time well spent, as this game is incredibly fun and has an incredibly reward win and season system in place. XDefiant recently released into its pre-season state after a few months of delays, without knowing when the game would finally arrive. Finally, we got this hands on this new free-to-play first-person shooter, and has been incredible since launch. This is essentially Ubisoft's answer to Call of Duty and trying to navigate the ever so rewarding free-to-play market, and it does it well with tight gameplay, great amount of content, and no pay-to-win mechanics. With 14 maps at launch and a sort of hero-like character selector consisting of Ubisoft IPs, it definitely is doing its job and standing out in the market. I have already put in over 100 hours already into this game since release, and it is a high recommendation from myself here at Xbox Nation. What free-to-play game on this list piques your interest? Let me know in the comments below. Smash that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe as it helps the YouTube algorithm find more Xbox gamers like yourselves. A big thank you as well to our channel members, and you can join for videos early, monthly giveaways, and so much more for as little as 99p. Whilst here, why don't you check out the video on screen now of the 10 new games coming to Xbox and Game Pass in July 2024.